The 12th graders said that they smoked marijuana recently. Today, that number is down to 22%.
Not the number I just gave.
Well, your number is wrong. No, your number is wrong.
Take it up with the National Institutes of Health, all right? They're the one that put it out.
I am a council member on the National Institute of Health. Your number is wrong. I'm telling you, it's 22%.
Well, this is an interesting book. Now, I want to clarify, you're a Muslim, so why did you write a book about the founder of Christianity?
Well, to be clear, I am a scholar of religions with 4 degrees, including one in the New Testament and fluency in Biblical Greek, who has been studying the origins of Christianity for 2 decades, who also just happens to be a Muslim. So it's not that I'm just some Muslim writing about Jesus. I am an expert with a PhD in the history of religions. But I've been obsessed with Jesus.
Though, it still begs the question, why would you be interested in the founder of Christianity?
Because it's my job as an academic. I am a professor of religion, including the New Testament. That's what I do for a living, actually.
I want to see a Republican Party that rather than trying to make it more difficult to vote and restricting the number of days and hours you can vote, a Republican Party that says, we want everybody to vote and we're going to give you a reason to vote for us.
All right, but I don't know if asking for an ID is trying to restrict the vote. I mean, I'm sorry. You should be able to prove who you are before you cast the ballot.
No, you should be able to prove who you are when you register to vote. And when you make the proper registration, identify yourself, you shouldn't have to go to some higher level, which is
how fraud is committed. And I mean, Boston and Chicago, you register and then you show up and it's not you.
I have not seen any study that says fraud is a problem of such significance that these kinds of procedures were in place.
Does it go, anywhere close to the climate change debate that's underway here on Earth? I mean, if the moon had erupting volcanoes a few years ago, well, a few billion years ago, however you want to put it, it's not like we've been up there burning fossil fuel.
No, volcanoes are not connected to the burning of fossil fuels. They're connected to mining. But the big thing for us, on my side of this thing, is the science is true. And so when you discover, the people who got really involved in climate change got involved in it often by studying Venus, the planet Venus. So the physics, the science that happens on Venus is the same as the science that happens on the Earth. The science that happens on the moon, in this case the geology, the study of rocks that happens on the moon, is the same science that happens on the Earth. So when you say to yourself, well, I'm going to ignore all the evidence of climate change, you're saying, I'm going to ignore the best ideas anybody's ever had. That's science.
When you have 4 people dead, including the first U.S. ambassador in more than 30 years, how do you call that hype?
How many security contractors died in Iraq, do you know?
I don't.
No, nobody does, because nobody cared. We know that several hundred died, but there was never an official count done of security contractors dead in Iraq. So when I see this focus on what was essentially a small firefight, I think, number one, I've covered a lot of firefights. It's impossible to figure out what happens in them sometimes. And second, I think that the emphasis on Benghazi has been extremely political, partly because Fox was operating as a wing of the Republican Party.
All right. Tom Ricks, thanks very much for joining us today.
You're welcome.